Hey, Center Stagers. I'm Dr. Malea Jensen. I'm board certified family medicine. I am located in West Des Moines, Iowa. I have been practicing family medicine for 26 years. 12 of those years I've been on my own. So if you guys are joining just now and you want to ask any questions, I'm here for you. Hi, Anita. Thank you for joining. Hi, guys. I know it's not like me to join on a Friday afternoon, but I have the day off. Took my mom to an appointment and thought I would chit chat with you guys today about health, about taking yourself center stage, putting yourself under the spotlight, taking care of yourself. Then you are able to take care of others around you. It's really just like that. It's as simple as that. So, hi, Lisa. Hi, Redbird. Where are you guys listening from? I think if I'm at let's see, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're 3 o'clock Central Time. So, across seas, we're looking at 6, 7, 8 hours time difference. So, where are you guys listening from? What city, what state, what country? Are you sure you want to be in my video? Let's see if that worked. I'm not sure. Hello, California. Are you there? Sometimes we have trouble with this little guy. Let me try it again. Oh, you don't want to be in it. Okay. It was a mistake. Gotcha. North Carolina, Sweden, Jacksonville, North Carolina. So what time is it in Sweden? Get that off of here. Somebody's trying to call in. Howdy. Fort Liberty, North Carolina. Manitoba, Canada. Anita's from Manitoba, Canada. I like to see where you guys are all listening from. Fort Liberty. I can't remember if I've ever been to North Carolina or not. Well, what are you guys doing today? Are you working? Are you taking the day off like I am? I don't take very many days off, only if my mom needs to go to her appointments. And then my nurse is like a free bird. She gets to play in the sun or do whatever people do. Sim Street is from New York City. Now that is a city, I have many, many friends there. And I used to go there all the time, mainly at Christmas time, but I also did a few bodybuilding shows there. And most of the time they were in July, sometimes they're in August. Judy is watching the opening of the Olympics. Yeah, when I left my mom's today, I turned it on for her. So that was good. She said this was good for her because she got to watch them light the, whatever it is, the torches. Sim Street, it's the best city ever, huh? Are you familiar with one of my friends? I haven't talked to her for a while, so maybe we're not friends, who knows? But are you familiar with Colette Nelson? Sim Street, I'm just asking if you're familiar with Colette Nelson. Apparently she is pretty famous in New York City. There's no sound? Uh-oh. Let me see. It says it's up all the way. Let me see over here. They're both up all the way. Catherine, I'm not sure. Do you have some sort of a mute going on? Can anybody else hear me? I mean, you sound like you can because you're all answering my questions. What do you want to talk about today? You know, I had a patient. Oh, good. Sue says she can hear me. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for joining. We're just kind of asking everybody. Run for Fun says they can hear. Okay, good. No, don't know her, but know of her. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. She's pretty famous around the gym scene and nutrition, nursing. I mean, she can just about do it all. Hi, Chuck. Do you have the day off like I do? Oh, boy. I had to take my mom to the doctor's office today, Chuck, so that's why I'm playing hooky from work, in case you missed that part. Well, you guys, should we talk a little bit about reading nutrition labels? because yesterday I had an older couple come in to me. You're still at work. Good for you. Let's sell some cars, Chuck. We got to sell some cars. Yeah, had a couple, and I'm guessing they're in their 70s, maybe even late 70s. I'm not sure. Who was told by their cardiologist to avoid use of butter. And so I asked them why, and they didn't really give an example of why, but told them to eat Smart Balance. And so I asked my patients if they had checked the labels, and they said no. And so I read the label to them, and then I read the label to you guys. And I'm just surprised that this stuff is going on, because half the chemicals in there I couldn't even pronounce. And I think we need to be very cautious about what we're purchasing in the grocery store. We need to check labels, okay? Even if it's your creamer or your cheese, we need to check ingredients, because it might push you over to buying something like organic raw cheese instead of Kraft, which I think has a lot of chemicals in it. And so we just need to be conscientious. Would you guys agree? I mean, it's just, I know it sounds like it would be common knowledge, but it's not. So I got some active little wiener dogs. They bark at leaves blowing outside. Tootsie and Timber. Anyway, hopefully they'll quiet down here soon. I guess the doggy does agree. Both of them. In fact, there's 3 of them, but one, Tucker's passed out. He's a good boy. Oh, you hit the wrong button. Can I elaborate on Gallum gun? Gallum gun. What? California? I don't think I've ever heard of it. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I could make up some answer. No, I'm not even very good at that. Where would that be? Is that in some products that you? Is it I'm guessing, is it a thickener? Maybe used in cottage cheese or something like that? It's got to be something that maybe even in yogurt, some sort of a thickener in yogurt. I'm not sure. That's a good question, but I'm just not sure. So ingredients are really important. The reason I'm guessing that the cardiologist recommended this Smart Balance is that it helps to lower cholesterol. And then we could go down rabbit holes on why a cardiologist is worried about cholesterol, saturated fat, right? So this particular Smart Balance has canola oil and palm oil in it. And you guys know those are seed oils. And if you really do a deep dive on seed oils, you will find that the industrial processing of seed oils is something you may not want to put in your body. I wouldn't encourage it, but obviously there are cardiologists that are promoting seed oils. And, I can't even promote, somebody asked me today about avocado and olive, and I guess I wouldn't recommend those either. I mean, they're really cut with other oils. We cannot be sure they're pure. They're usually not cold pressed. And if we have butter, ghee, tallow, lard, I'm not sure that you need anything else. I'm not sure that you need oils, especially seed oils. Yes, they have been shown in studies to lower LDL, but is LDL our problem? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. SG Ryder says it's in organic whipping cream. So it's possible it is a thickener. That can be my only guess. I would actually have to look that up. So let me move along here. I can go over the questions that have been sent to me. You guys, I take a lot of notes. I read things and take notes, and then I write down the questions that you guys have for me, and I try to get to them as best I can. What's a good one here? This one is a pretty common question. Why am I getting diarrhea on a carnivore diet? And that's a great question. Whenever we change diets at all, it can disturb our gut bacteria. And so if you went from a standard American diet or even a plant-based diet and you go to a carnivore diet, your bowels, your gut has to accommodate. It has to get used to what you're feeding it. And so the microbiome get disturbed. And so you're getting some killing off of some bad bacteria and some growth and development of good bacteria. And one of the side effects can be diarrhea in the first few weeks. So it's not uncommon, but that usually stops. Okay. Um, Here's a question. I don't, if you guys are into keto or carnivore. The question came in is, how do I find a keto or carnivore doctor in my area? And again, this can be kind of hard, but my question would be to you, and I've heard Dr. Ken Berry talk about this as well, is if you're comfortable with your current doctor, there's really not a need to simply go to a carnivore or keto doctor, unless, of course, your current doctor is kind of poo-pooing you, or maybe not wanting to work with you because you're not doing what they say, not doing the Mediterranean diet, not taking your cholesterol medicine, not taking your blood pressure medicine, not following through on their advice. And usually they will give you some sort of hint that maybe you should find a different doctor. But if you're good with your doctor and you just don't want to mention that you're on one of these diets, then don't. But it is good for the doctor to know what's going on, especially if you're doing a different diet and your A1C goes from 10 to 5.6, and they're going to wonder, geez, what the heck have you been doing? How come this is going so well for you? Then you might want to tell them, or not. But back to the question, how do we find a carnivore or keto diet? One, word of mouth. Two, I believe Dr. Kiltz, I can't remember his first name, Kiltz. Kiltz, what's his first name? Oh my gosh. I can't remember. But I believe on his website, he has lists of doctors in the area. So you can go to his website, Dr. Kiltz. He's an infertility specialist. There's also, and I wrote this down and I have not yet. Hi, Helene. Hi, Debbie. I haven't gone to this website, but there is something called the Society of Metabolic Database. I went through that, or I wrote it down because somebody had mentioned it to me, but I myself have not gone to that website to see what they have to offer. I actually plugged myself into Dr. Kiltz's website. I actually put in Iowa, and not one doctor popped up in Iowa. Chuck asks, what are my thought processes on reading food labels and nutrition facts? And I think, Chuck, you kind of joined in later because I actually started out by talking about a patient who was recommended by their cardiologist to use a plant-based butter spread instead of using butter, probably for the lack of saturated fat and for the seed oils that they so choose to recommend to my patients, which I'm not a big believer in. But to answer your question, Chuck, I think reading food labels and gleaning the nutrition facts from them is very important. I'm going to tell you, there's not very many foods that I eat that actually have a nutrition label, because basically I simply eat beef, or I eat ruminant meats. So I don't want to just say I eat cow. I eat venison and sheep and bison and buffalo and those ruminant meats, okay? And I eat a lot of eggs. And I also, I eat a lot of butter. I know I've said this before, but I really should take stock in butter. But yes, I think if we are eating things, like for me, if I'm going to go buy cheese, I'm going to get a raw cheese. And I know it's not completely unpasteurized, okay? I get it, but it's a little cleaner than, well, it's a lot cleaner than the cheeses that are on the market that I'm not sure that actually are cheese. Maybe they've got microplastics in them. Maybe it's just fake. Okay, so checking labels is really important. Hi, Terry. And Helene, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Helene says you're doing a great job. Thank you. But yeah, reading the labels, and just like Sue said earlier, she's got some whipping cream and it has some odd things in the label. We need to, if we're going to eat something and we look at the nutrition label, the least amount of ingredients is most important. So if it has one, two, three, if it just says cheese and it has cream and butter or whatever's in it, just and some maybe salt, I'm not sure, but those are the things that we need to be careful of, okay? Because they're putting stuff in there to give it shelf life, to thicken it, to fortify it. I mean, why does something need to be fortified at all? If it's real food, it shouldn't need to be fortified. And that's what I would say to a lot of people who are on plant-based diets. And why would you be eating a plant-based diet if the nutritional value is lacking and you have to actually fortify it with supplements? Something that came up today, and I was reading, I like to, as much as you guys do, I like to scan Instagram, or very rarely I'll scan Facebook. I'm on there. It's just not, I guess I just tend to gravitate toward Instagram and YouTube a little more than Facebook or any of the other media giants. But there was something that popped up on Sean Baker's Instagram, and I don't know if it was from today or not, but I don't know if you guys saw it, if you're watching me and you saw this, but the Kelsey brothers, the football players, one plays for the Chiefs, and I believe one just retired. Was he playing? He used to play for the Eagles, maybe. But they're promoting cereal. And that these athletes, even one of my favorite athletes, Caitlin Clark, did the exact same thing. She is promoting Caitlin Crunch or Clark Crunch or whatever it was called. And so she's being sponsored by our local Hy-Vee, which is the largest grocery store, okay? So they sponsor her, right? And so they made her a cereal. And I don't know what it is about athletes promoting cereal to our children, okay? There's no nutritional value in I think they were made like the Kelsey brothers have their faces on the box, and it's a combination of like 3 different crappy cereals all in one. It's like a mixture. It's like Reese's and Cinnamon Toast Crunch and one other one, okay? And that kids are very influential, and we see an athlete, we want to be just like our athlete, right? We want to eat what they eat. And yeah, Terry says it's poison. It really is. It's full of sugar. And all we're doing is we're encouraging kids to eat these sugar-laden foods. And I know you're going to say, but when I was a kid, I ate cereal too, and I'm fine. Are you? Are you fine? And honestly, was the sugar content as much as it is now? I don't know, but I think there's more chemicals in the cereals that we have now today. I mean, there has to be. I mean, look at them. Look at all the dyes that they use just to get the colors. And I don't know. You guys, we just need to be conscientious about this, and we need to share with our kids and say, hey, this is really cool about the Kelsey brothers, but we can't have that food in our house. We just got to put our foot down. But let's have some eggs and bacon instead. Okay? Because you and I both know that when we raise our blood sugars, and you guys, just so you know this, at any given time in our bloodstream, there's only 4 to 5 grams of sugar floating around, glucose, in our bloodstream. If we took one bite of cereal, sugar cereal, it's going to skyrocket our blood sugars. One bite. And we do this all day long. One slice of bread has 20 grams of carbs. Now it takes that much insulin to bring the 20 down to normal, which is 4 or 5. So if we constantly eat through the day, like you say, snack, like somebody asked me, what can I snack on a carnivore diet? Well, then if you need a snack, you're not eating carnivore, okay? There should be no snacking. You should eat your carnivore meals until you're comfortably full. And there should be no eating between. In fact, we need to practice not eating so much. As a population, a human population, we eat way too much. We eat too often, and too much. And the reason we're eating often is because we're choosing foods that are full of carbs and which is sugar. Okay. And so if we eat something like that, insulin goes up. And remember, I said, so say it's a piece of bread and it's 20 grams. So the insulin's going to spike and it has to bring it back down to normal. And then we don't like that feeling when it comes back down to normal. We get hungry. So we eat again. And then the insulin goes up. Now, if we just chose meats and eggs and butter, we're not going to be getting those spikes because fat does not spike insulin. You know, proteins, maybe just a tiny, tiny bit, but carbohydrates, whoa, on a scale, a lot, okay? And so that's the human diet, is to eat carbohydrates through the day at all times. I mean, we've never really deprived ourselves and just eat what many people call a proper human diet, a species-specific diet, okay? Species-specific diet does not include sugar-laden cereal or bread for that matter, okay? Now, if you want to make a egg white or egg piece of like a taco, I mean, you can do these things just with eggs. It's very similar to bread. You just got to get used to it. But eggs are very nutritious. Terry says it's bioengineered. Took my youngest, 18, to the store, and we couldn't buy anything. It's all bioengineered. I agree. Everything is made in the lab these days, you guys. There's not very many God-given foods anymore, okay? They're made by a man in a lab, and that includes our fruits and vegetables. Those seeds are not of the earth, okay? They are man-made. Catherine asks, how many times does one eat in a day? Like, it depends on what they're eating. We just got done talking about this, but you know, if you're on a carnivore diet, are you on a carnivore diet, or are you on a keto diet? You didn't give me enough information. But let's just say that you're on a keto or a carnivore diet. It's not uncommon to eat 1 and or 2 meals a day. I mean, I go back and forth. Like today, I ate twice, or I will eat twice. But I ate earlier today after my workout to supplement my workout. Okay. But people who are on a standard American diet, which is just basically anything goes, right? They just eat whenever. They're eating multiple times a day, 4 or 5 times a day. And the reason they're doing that is because they're needing snacks in between. Okay. There's an emotional addiction among my family and friends. They think I will sicken myself on carnivore to carbs, both simple and I'm missing out on. There's an emotional addiction among my family and friends. Emotional addiction to food? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think food is very easily to get emotionally attached to, because again, we live in a world of abundance and prosperity. And being in a world of abundance and prosperity, we've never really had to deprive ourselves, nor do we want to now, because we like the feeling of the emotional high of eating, of gathering together. We may or may not like the side effects that happen 15, 20, 25 hour, 5 hours later, because a lot of people who are emotionally addicted to food also feel great amount of guilt following eating when they know they shouldn't. And this is the part that's really hurtful, is that they will sabotage themselves because it's like self-defeating. They're actually putting themselves down so much that they'll say, well, if I'm such a loser, I'm just going to go finish everything. I'm just going to go eat everything in sight. Or, you know, one of my patients said, and she's was giving a ride to a conference, a women's conference, and she's giving a ride to several women, and they get to their location, and she said just earlier in the ride that they were talking about carnivore diet, and this one lady said, "Oh, I'm going to do a carnivore diet. I'm going to do this." And she goes, I'm almost there, or whatever that means. Okay. So my patient saw her later at the conference and she was eating a cinnamon roll. And so she said to her, hey, what are you doing? That's not really on the carnivore diet. And she goes, well, I guess I've already messed up. I'm just going to finish it. A little short while later, finishing it included 3 more. So you can see that maybe she was in such a self-defeating mode that she just said, you know what, if I ate 1, I might as well go eat 4 more and really make myself sick. I mean, that's kind of our thought process. And so part of fixing our diet and fixing our health is actually knowing what is causing our emotional, sometimes degradation, okay? And once we come to grips with that, learning how to eat again, it's a process. And I have some of you probably listening right now that have struggled with food addictions. And, it's easy for somebody like myself to say, well, just, if you just eat carnivore, all your problems will be solved. Well, yes, your blood sugars will be better. Your chronic diseases will become less. I mean, it's just anecdotally, we see it all the time. People who go carnivore, they get off their medicines. Their diabetes reverses. Their inflammation goes down. Their joint aches and pains go down. Their skin gets better. There's just a ton of positive things that go along with carnivore, but it has to be a lifelong process. And so for somebody like myself, I am not a person who easily becomes addicted to food or drink or really a lot of things. I could say that one of the things I'm probably more addicted to would be exercise. Like, I can't see myself not ever exercising. Like, it is something, whether I am sick, whether I am in a low mood, I go to the gym. And usually, by the time I'm done, I will be very happy that I went. And so we have to get to that point with food, because when I think about food, I think about health. When I think about food, I think about pure energy that helps me in the gym, helps me in my office with patients, okay? And that part's difficult. You have to separate yourself from knowing what's best for the patient and accepting that they may or may not be able to do a diet that is healthy. And so I have to work with them. It is very hard. It's very hard for me. I don't want to have to prescribe medications. I don't want to give diabetes medicines. I could give you 10 negatives for every positive that a diabetes medicine has. And unfortunately, I have patients that are okay with their diabetes. They would rather manage their diabetes rather than getting rid of their diabetes. And that I don't understand. Like, I just can't understand that way of life, only because I want to be healthy. And I got into this job, this profession, to encourage health. And you guys can see that every other patient, it would be, very difficult to take care of a person, and they really don't have the desire that you have. So I have a desire for them to get healthy and to get off their medicines. And then, you think that this whole world would be a much better place. And you guys know that's impossible, right? Because this world is so corrupt. We are living in a corrupt world. And we kind of have to pick our battles. Like, I have to pick my battles. So for every patient that leaves my practice that does not want to hear about my way of health for you, I get 3 more that heard about you or watched I mean, I've had people just walk in off the street and say, hey, I want to schedule an appointment. I know that you say you're not taking new patients, but I need to be here. I've done carnivore and I need to talk to somebody who understands and knows what could be going on, because I don't want my health to go bad if I'm doing something wrong. And so again, for every person who wants to just manage their diseases and doesn't want to hear about getting better, getting well, getting healed, for everyone that walks out right now, 2 or 3 more are coming to the practice. And so that's a testament of the direction my practice is going. And it doesn't always match or align with what you guys are thinking right now. But seriously, even if you didn't have a doctor, there's no reason that you should age and have a disease. It is possible to age and never have a disease. You see, the experts want to tell you that as you age, you're going to get a disease. It's kind of like, if you don't take this particular medicine, you're going to die. If you don't take this whatever, you're going to die. That's a pretty heavy statement, because you and I both know that we are all going to die. Everyone is going to die. It's the quality of our life that leads us into our death, because our death is imminent. Okay? Our death is imminent, and it's something that we can't prevent. But we can live a healthy life never seeing a doctor. It's possible, but it's only possible if you avoid all of the chemicals that are laden in our foods. But you can't get away from the environmental chemicals. They're in our air. They're in our water. Okay? And you actually have to go to a job, right? And the jobs are stressful because they want you to do more work, the work of 3 or 4 people, not the work of one person. And so you get stressed at work and your cortisol goes up. And then cortisol causes blood sugars to go up. And if blood sugars go up, insulin has to go up. Okay? So, and then we don't sleep well because we take our work home with us. And then we're, not very nice to our spouse, our husband or our wife. And then our kids take the brunt of it. And they say, Mom, Dad, can you go outside with me? Can we go, whatever? No, just go play some video games. I'll be right with you. I got to get the meals prepped. We need to take a step back and look about how we live. It's affecting our life. Okay? Everything we do affects our life. And we can't live in a bubble, but we can fix and prevent a lot of things. Okay? We're only one person, so we can only do one job. Okay? We should not take on the job of 3 or 4 people. Okay? We need sleep. We need 8 hours of sleep. And we need to hang around with not toxic people. If you have toxic people in your life, they're going to bring you down. If you associate with somebody who's drinking, you are going to end up drinking. If you hang out with somebody who's eating a standard American diet and eating out and going to Bebop's and Burger King, then you are going to end up eating at Bebop's and Burger King. It's inevitable. So you have to say, hey, I'm willing to lose this friend because my health is more important. My family is more important. So it just depends on what is more important to you. I mean, I've had patients tell me it's not convenient for me. What's not convenient for you? It's not convenient for me to make my own food. That's not convenient. And to be honest, I really like garbage food. Okay. Then you have to know that you're a setup for diseases in the future. And one of those diseases is going to be your demise. Okay? Do you want to die of just a ripe old age in your sleep? I do have some patients that have never really been to the doctor, and they just come in just to say hi. There are no medicines. They come every 6 months, and they're my older patients. And then we talk about how they fix in small engines, and one is a tree cutter downer. So they trim trees and make furniture and do all kinds of stuff. Flooring, they do flooring. So that's an interesting one. And so I always wonder, why would you ever come into the doctor Oh, I just think I should get my labs done. Okay. So I bet that's frustrating if they don't listen. You can at least say you tried. You're right. It is, but we're Terry. We have doctors are human too. We're just like Dr. Barry always says, we're chicks and dudes. In who've gotten a little bit better educate or more education than a lot of people. And so, yeah, I guess I'm an average chick who does have a heart that does get hurt, and then we retaliate, because you put up boundaries and bridges and all kinds of stuff, so people can't get to you, but they do. They get to us. There's some people who are very good at, um, but very good at just having a wall. And I used to be really good. I was all doctor, and you call me doctor, and we're not friends. And geez, that was probably the first 15 years of my practice, but it worked. And no one ever tried to break those boundaries, to be honest. But as I've gotten older, the last 10 years, I would say that more people look at me as if I'm their friend. And, there's patients that I've been seeing for 20, 25 years that have walked away. And so you look or you ask yourself, man, I have been taking care of you for 20 years. And yes, my way of practice has changed because I truly believe that all of the medications that we have available to us are causing more and more problems that require more and more medications. And we are not spending time teaching you about diet. And for those people who don't want to reverse what's ever going on in their life, want to remain in the unknown. They don't want to know. They just want to live their life. They want to eat their food, drink their liquor, not sleep. It's just not a life that I want to leave or live, nor I don't want that for a lot of people, but they have to live their own life, right? They have to say, yeah, I want it. But yeah, it's frustrating. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people, more people, Terry, more people than have made that decision. They don't care. You guys on Instagram, the ones listening right now, the ones, seeking more information. I mentioned Dr. Ken Berry a lot, and I guess the reason being is because he's been doing online medicine for about 7 years now. And he rarely sees patients in the office. His business is mainly online, putting in time with you guys like I'm doing right now. And he's got over 3 million followers. Over 3 million people follow him on a regular basis, and they want to be healthy. And some of those people are not just in the United States, right? So if we take our 350 million people and we say, oh my gosh, 1 million people in the United States truly want to be better. Do you know that in all of our practice in 26 years, I couldn't have affected that many people? But when we are online, and as much as social media can be a really bad thing, think about how much you guys are gleaning from physicians who are giving their time for free. And it's simply amazing. Like I've been following for a few years, and I just wondered to myself, how, can I keep doing this? Can I keep doing this for free? Or not so much free, or how do I say it? Like, can I keep you guys interested and keep you learning about yourself and your body? And I think with me and the Ken Berries and the Sean Bakers and the Anthony Chaffees and the Gabrielle Lyons, and then you got some workout people, you got some chiropractors, you got some trainers, you got some mobility people. They're all online giving their advice for basically free. or someone throws them a gift here and there, or you get a new client. That's what it's about. Because if we're being honest with ourselves as a doctor, and for myself, I'm talking for myself, most doctors spend 5, maybe 10 minutes with their patients in the office. There's only one problem they'll go over. And if there's 2 problems, one of the things that we don't want to do is, so as we're finishing up and we told you about your one problem that you came in from, we will pretty much know that you never ask the patient, is there anything else? Or did I answer all your questions? Oh boy, that's like an open book for them to go, you know what? Oh, by the way, we always call the patients, oh, by the ways. Oh, by the way, as we're just leaving. And that puts the doctor behind. And they don't want to be behind. And their company doesn't want them to be behind because they're being paid to see 40, 50 patients a day. Okay. And yeah, I used to do that. But I would work 12-hour days, mind you. Okay. I was working a normal 8-hour day, and then I would work after hours. I would work the moonlight in the clinic afterward for walk-in. And yeah, it increased my salary, but it burned me out. And I had morals back then, and I have morals now. And sometimes what we had to do to earn like bonuses and stuff, it was so unethical. It still is unethical. And we say we're doing it for your guys' best interest, but we're really not. It's for our best interest. And so I'm not telling you that all doctors are like this, or it's just all doctors. It's attorneys. It's everybody has their own self-interest. It's human. But I think, okay, because I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, I think that the closer we get with our relationship with the Lord, he sets us on his path. And so we act more like Jesus and less like Dr. Jensen of the past. Okay. And so I'm good with that. But there's not a lot of people who are like that. But then again, there are a lot of people like that. I'm sure you know them, right? You could probably name 10 people who are just like that. They would give you the shirt off their back. They're just so sweet. They give you the shirt off their back. The minute you call them, they're there for you. Those are the people. And even if they said they didn't believe in Jesus, that is Jesus working in them. Just so you know. All right. Hi, Corky. Time for self-care. That's really good. That's a good handle. We should all take time for ourselves. And that's why I got the center stage. The center stage, primary care, center stage. Put yourself under the spotlight. Put yourself center stage. Take care of yourself first. When you are feeling good, you're able to take care of others around you. You're like a light to them. They're going to say, man, you glow. What are you doing? Share your secret with me. And then you go, oh my gosh, I found this Ken Berry guy, this doctor online, and this Dr. Chafee, Dr. J, Dr. everybody, and they're all talking carnivore. And I went carnivore, and look at me now. I say, yeah, bud, you're really glowing. You look good. I'm going to try this. So you guys are a bigger influence than I will ever be. So if you get up your nerve, get on social media. Even if you just want to share it like on X or, something like that, just sharing or on Threads, Twitter and Threads, you can just put words, say, hey, this is me. This was me before, and this is me now. And this was my plate before Bebop's and Burger King and McDonald's and Pizza Hut and all that stuff. And this is my plate now. And I'm happier. And I love the taste of beef with eggs on the side, smothered in butter, like dripping off the edge, making you guys hungry, aren't I? Big T-bone or ribeye. Oh my goodness. So that's a good one. Time for self-care. Corky, Axel, DC Lopton, Saul, thank you all. Patrick, thank you all for joining. Shelly. Catherine asks, what do you eat after your workout in the morning? Catherine, I don't always eat after my workout, but today I did. I almost always do on Saturday and Sunday, like I do. Every Saturday and Sunday, I for sure will eat 2 meals. But like today, after my workout, I waited probably, and it was about 45 minutes before I got to eating, but I ate 6 eggs, and these were pasture raised eggs. I believe they're pasture raised eggs. Terry, you're going to have to tell me, were those pasture raised eggs? The color of the yolk is not golden, it's still yellow, but they are good compared to our store-bought eggs. So yeah, I had 6 eggs, and I had a half a pound of beef, and I had a half a stick of butter melted on it. And then I did sprinkle some shavings of raw cheddar cheese on it. Not very much, just to kind of give it. And then I use salt as my only, is it a condiment or spice or whatever? But yeah, I'm kind of into salts. I have a variety of salts in my cupboard. And this morning I used Jacobsen's kosher salt. It's kind of a flake salt. It has great crunch. And I don't usually cook the meal with it. I usually sprinkle it on top. It just gives a better taste to me. Some people just like it when they're, as they're cooking their meal, and then it mixes in. But today the way I cooked them is I put what did I do this morning? I do different routines every day. I put some butter, and then my brown beef. Then I drop the 6 eggs, in a pattern on top of the beef in the pan. And then I put the lid on it, and then it kind of steams it and poaches them. And then I sprinkled the cheese, and then I laid half a stick of butter on it, and it just melted in. And the eggs are still a little bit runny, and I like them that way. Other times I'll scramble them. Other times, like tonight, I'll probably scramble 10 or so eggs and another half a pound of ground beef. And that will be my, before bed, or not before bed, but my evening meal. I call it supper. I don't know what you guys call it. Sometimes people look at me like I'm a hillbilly if I say supper, when they call it dinner. And I think dinner is like, I don't know, on a farm, that's like your noon meal or something. But I grew up with breakfast, lunch, and supper. And I don't even eat those meals anymore. I don't even know that we did when I was a kid either, but it was breakfast, lunch, and supper when we talked about it. So, Catherine, that's what I do after my morning workouts. And it's always the same. If it's not ground beef, it'll be venison, or I like bison and buffalo, and I've had sheep. I've even had ground lamb. So I do like a variety, but I could eat beef. I could chop up, like my dogs, like this morning, they ate for breakfast some raw steak tips, sirloin tips. And sometimes I will brown those and eat it. I rarely do chicken. And so it's very easy for me to go to the grocery store. One of my patients, who's a listener as well, said, why don't you ever ask the question, what does Dr. J eat? What does Dr. J go to the store and buy? And I said, oh my gosh, that would be an embarrassment, because when I go to the store, it's to run in to get a couple pounds of butter and some Kelowna eggs. So it is a bit embarrassing, unless, of course, I go to shop for my mom, and then that is an embarrassment in itself. Although we took her to the doctor's office today, and she's lost 10 pounds because I'm now buying her I've slowly shifted her diet. She's probably going into withdrawal. I know she probably is, but she laughs about it. And today she wanted a treat, and I said, we are not stopping. I have taken you to the doctor. We've gone to the grocery store. I had to get gas. She goes, well, then what should I eat for lunch? What do you think I should eat for lunch? Kind of one of those little sob stories, And I said, how about, I never do this, how about I make one of those DiGiorno rising crust pizzas for you? And she goes, oh, you haven't done that for like 3 months. And I said, I know. I'm trying to keep you away from them. So, that's what she had. And she was in heaven when I left. But again, if I maybe keep her away from it and we continue to eat, she likes chicken. If I just keep her on chicken, and she'll eat fish, and she's lost weight, and she's actually feeling better. Okay, so it's not carnivore. It's not even keto. It's substandard American diet. So it's sub-sad. Okay. So that's what I eat. And even if I were to go out to eat, I get burgers and butter. And I say, can you fry an egg on the side? And they say, of course I can. You guys just have to ask. But when I say fry, I say, you better use butter. You cannot use seed oils. I have a card and I pull out a card in my wallet. It's a little card I got from Ben Azadi, Azadi. And I printed it off and I put it in I probably should laminate it. And it's an allergy card for seed oils. And I tell him, I said, I am so allergic to seed oils. I can't have my food even come into contact with it. I said, my food comes into contact with a seed oil, you might as well call the emergency room. You better call the ambulance. Okay. And I don't think that you want an ambulance coming. It's Friday night. You look how many people are here. I said, I don't think that you want you don't want an ambulance to come and disturb all the people eating here and drinking. I mean, that would lose a lot of money. Nobody's going to be able to come in. They can't go out. Yeah, if you just keep the seed oils away, you will keep the ambulance away. I mean, I just don't think you want to be involved in a lawsuit if I told you that I can't have seed oils and then you put it on my food. And then I showed you my card. How come you guys aren't laughing? No, this works for me though. It works. And sometimes the people I go with, they know me so well, they're actually kind of smiling and probably going like this. I don't go out to eat. Sometimes here's it. Sometimes the drug reps will bring us meals and talk about their drugs. And I just humor them and I look and I go, and then I say, do you know the difference between relative risk reduction and absolute risk reduction? And they'll look at me with the eyeballs. They're young kids, Their eyeballs get like this. And they say, well, it says right here that this is relative risk reduction. I go, that's what I figured. I mean, that's like 30%. If you look at the absolute risk reduction, it's going to be like 0.1%. Oh, I'll look into it, they say. I say, okay, but thank you for lunch. They go and buy you what you want, which is like for me, 2 ground beef steaks and a side of butter with a side of eggs. I mean, they kind of know now. And really, they've kind of stopped coming because they know that I don't prescribe any of their medicines. Chuck says, Doc, I got a 149 calcium scoring test. How worried should I be? Chuck, can I ask you another question? What is your triglyceride level? What is your HDL level? And what is your fasting insulin level? And Chuck, do you have a previous history of coronary artery disease? Have you had a heart attack or stroke or something like that? So you get back to me and I'll tell you how worried you should be. Terry says, yes, they are. No vaccines in those chickens. Oh, great. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, they're about gone. And I don't know, but should I be keeping the containers and giving them back to you? Okay. You see, you guys are so good to me. You guys are so good to me. I appreciate everybody. Okay, so I'll wait for Chuck to get back to us. There's Harris and Richard and Gabby. Terry, you're slowly shifting your mother too. Next to your daughter-in-law. Oh my gosh, good luck. Because isn't she the one that was giving her kids suckers with the blue dye in them? Oh boy. Mark, thank you for joining. There's another Chuck. I got like 3 Chucks listening. Hi, Marnie and Mary. So, okay, do you guys got questions for me? I know I've done all the talking here. I'm kind of telling you all the secrets about being a doctor. And I'm sure you guys figured it out by now because you're hearing so many stories about how, I don't know. I don't think that doctors get out of bed and try to be nefarious. I really don't. I really think if they were like me, they get out of bed and they truly want to help people. I mean, we did go into this profession initially because we wanted to help people. I just can't imagine that we initially went into it knowing that we were going to make a ton of money and be friends with the drug reps and and be in bed with them. I didn't know anything about that. I actually thought when they came in and said, hey, this statin, it's going to lower the cholesterol this much, and we lower the risk of having all-cause mortality and this and that. I actually thought that I was helping people. But, I did not think that people would seriously want, like, experts and drug companies and food companies. I really didn't think that could possibly be nefarious. I mean, who would, in their right mind think that? I know now it's different, but, back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, I never would have gotten that impression. I just thought everybody was, I mean, you had some bad apples, but, you gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. And now this world is like, I mean, we'll shoot each other because we don't like their ideas. And that's a scary thing. And, doctors, especially 3 or 4 years ago, you know what happened 3 or 4 years ago, right? I mean, there were doctors that said, if you don't get the thing, you can't come in here anymore. But doctor, I'm healthy. I don't want the thing. Well, you can't come in here. We're not taking care of anybody who doesn't take the thing. I mean, I had patients come to me and say, I need a new doctor. Do you require that we take the thing? And I said, oh boy, is this what's happening out there? Because I'm in practice by myself. Well, does that mean if you got anemia that you're not coming in here? I don't treat anybody with anemia. Or you got psoriasis and you got an ugly rash on you? I can't see that. I mean, is that what medicine is coming to? That they put a sign on the window saying, if you do not have verification that you've had the thing, then you can't come in. I don't know. This is a sad, whether or not you took the thing or not took the thing, we should still say, hey, you have hepatitis and HIV, you can come on in. We'll just wear gloves and keep, be healthy. We'll try to do the best we can. I may not know anything about your disease, but I'll do the best I can. I'll send you in the right direction. But these people, there were a lot of people who couldn't even go to the doctor for 4 years. And so I think that's, now we got a problem. Now I would think that they do wake up. Doctors do wake up and they really want to be mean and hateful to people. And you guys have free will. I mean, I have people who choose diseases. And I don't tell them to leave. They just end up leaving on their own. They just don't want to hear the wrath. It's not really wrath. I mean, I really care. I truly care about them. I mean, I just can't understand the decisions they're making. They really don't even understand the decisions they're making. They'll just say it's convenience or it's, it's laziness or I don't care. They'll simply say, I don't care. That's actually better. Guilt. I didn't throw those blue suckers out on my walk to the park. Yes, you should have thrown those blue suckers out. That look on your face. One of my listeners actually saw me out with my mom at a festival last weekend, I believe, and she had her grandkids and they were asking her for something and she said, oh, you want your sucker? And I couldn't, I bet my eyeballs popped out of my head. Did they pop out of my head? Because I think they did. I don't know if I wanted to say anything or not say anything because they are your grandchildren, not mine. Mark asks, what do you think of high meat fermentation? High meat equals fermentation. Mark, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Help me out. Maybe I'm ignorant. I'm not sure. I don't know what you're asking. Hi, No. Thanks for joining. Let me see if I missed any questions because, I get to talking. We've been talking for about an hour. Do you guys want to hang up I'm back every Saturday at 9 a.m. This was an impromptu. I just wanted to talk, I guess. I wanted to see how you guys were doing. But every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central, I am live. So, yeah, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central, I'm live. And we go over just like what we do today. I do talking, and you guys do listening. And then occasionally we'll have questions. And like I said, I've written down a lot of questions from you guys. So I'm not at a loss for questions, but I like to answer them if you have them like live because I think it's fun. And then you guys all get to talking amongst each other. A lot of times you get to talking amongst each other and you'll share ideas with each other. And so when I possibly can't relate to you guys are relating to each other and telling each other what's going on. Does that make sense? And so it happens a lot. And the more and more we get ourselves out there, myself as a physician, along with these others. Again, I just started this. It's been just a few months, over a year. And I like it. I like talking in a box. I like you guys looking at me talk to you in a box. I can't see you. You can see me. I can't see you. And I have fun talking in a box. I like to teach people. And I especially like to teach people who are willing and wanting to learn. Okay? You have to come to me. Right? Unfortunately, people who come to my office actually have to pay to hear me tell them what they're doing wrong. They do not like that. They don't like it. But see, you guys are just coming on and saying, hey, I'm not going to listen to Dr. Jensen. I don't even have to pay. And if I choose to pay, I'm just going to send her an anonymous gift. Like push the gift button, the subscribe button, you know what? Even if you just push the heart button, the share button, share it with one of your family members. They might enjoy it. You might just turn the tables on them. It's how you got to doing what you're doing, right? Right. Oh, Mark says, so, okay, let me read back. High meat equals fermentation. So you let meat sit out for weeks, like uncooked or cooked or uncooked with salt. Like, how do you prepare it, Mark? Because I'm not familiar with this. I know, Terry, that's Tootsie. It's just one puppy that needs attention. She is looking at me right now with this. You can hear her whining in the background, right? She's got to go to the bathroom. I took her out before I started this. She laid in the grass. I said, do you have to go to the bathroom? And she said, no, I just tricked you. I wanted to come lay in the grass. I said, okay, but we should do a live for an hour, just 1 hour. Can you make it? She said, yes. And now she's lying to me. Now she's over there saying, I need to go to the bathroom. See, she's loud. She'll get louder. Raw. And then you put salt on it, Mark. I don't know. Is it working for you, Mark? Because if it does, and you're like a lean, mean machine and you're lifting weights and doing the thing and being healthy and staying away from doctors, keep doing it. Eat some eggs. Get some butter. You don't need anything else. Beef, butter, bacon, eggs. That's what makes the world go round. Put them in a closed jar and let them ferment. Do it. If it works. There's a guy talking about fermenting. I watch them a little bit. Oh my gosh, what are their names? They're on YouTube. They're in Missouri. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Now, again, I do not eat any of her food, but she is a fermenting expert. I wonder if she ferments meat. That would be interesting. I don't even know if I could wait that long. I really like to cook my meat and just eat it right then and there. I can't even hardly wait, especially if it's a ribeye. Okay. All right, you guys. We'll call it good. An hour. If you want to join tomorrow, Saturdays, every Saturday, Lord willing, I'll be available at 9 a.m. Central. Bring your health questions. Just bring, if you have workout questions, I'm good at that too. If you want to subscribe, just push the subscribe button. It helps me out, keeps me going. I probably need to invest in a computer at some point, but that's for another time. There's little things, but right now I'm so simple. I can just, if you guys are good with these, using the cell phones. I mean, I actually have 2 cell phones going at once. I'm on YouTube as well. And so if you guys are on YouTube and you could help me out by going to @IronLadyDoc, IRON, so Iron Lady Doc. And sometimes you have to put in Malea Jensen as well, Malea Jensen, EN. So @IronLadyDoc, Malea Jensen, and then my thing pops up. And just kind of getting started over there. But they're kind of tough over there. Instagrammers, I like you. I'm going to end up liking the YouTubers too. They just tough ones. They're tough birds over there. But we'll get them. We'll crack them. All right? So like me on Instagram, Center Stage Primary Care on Facebook, at Iron Lady Doc on YouTube, at Iron Lady Doc on Twitter, at Iron Lady Doc on Rumble. Nothing involves Tootsie. Tootsie, I'm coming, girl. I'm coming. All right, you guys. You guys be good, and we'll catch you later, all right? Okay, see ya.